Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day. going to bring you a whole host of breaking news. And when I woke up this morning, I saw something that was pretty interesting coming across the feed, and I'm doing a double take. Is this a possibility? Is it true? I don't know. We're on an arrest watch. That is absolutely correct. So I am kind of reading this morning, as many of you know, there's been a lot of stuff going on. Like Minnesota has been the epicenter of the deep state trying to start a civil war in our country, right? It's these, and I honestly, I've been listening and speaking to some people in Minnesota. I'm not going to sit and speak too much about their stories or anything like that. And I have come to the conclusion that something isn't right in Minnesota. I don't think these people voted for Tim Walz. I'm sorry, I just don't. After speaking to a lot of people, they just want their state back. They have been ran out of their state. People don't even understand. And there's people like us all the way across this country that are hearing a different story, but nobody's actually speaking to the people that are living this. They're listening to the politicians on the TV saying Minnesota's what this. And Minnesotans are saying, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. If Minnesota wanted this so bad, why do they have to keep busing in all these people to Minnesota for these protests? If Minnesota was really organically rising up against the Trump administration, I don't see any purpose for any buses to ever even be, or any people flying into the community. But these people are being bussed in by huge commercial buses. And we've already seen this is going on. These are paid actors, okay? These are paid people. Is some of it organic? Of course, I'm sure some of it is organic. But what we're seeing on TV is an illusion, okay? It's just an illusion. And after speaking with several people personally out of Minnesota to find out truly what they've been forced to deal with, that is what I'm going to say. Been forced to deal with. Anybody that has complained has had very, very much financial repercussions. They have been abusing their citizens, using intimidation, using their jobs, using other things to keep them in line. Do you want your governor and bureaucrats all over your state keeping you in line by dangling your job and your livelihood over your head? Cut it out. That's what's happening. That's the reality of what's going on in Minnesota, whether you like it or not. That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm learning. Maybe I will release some of those things to you guys. Maybe I will not. I'm unsure at this point. I've got to get some additional information. So we're on an arrest watch, guys. The nation is reacting to a fatal ICE shooting in Minneapolis, protests spreading, heated political battle lines, and deepening scrutiny of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. We're unpacking every angle in this live to clarify some information that you or other people might have that may be coming across. We're going very early on a Sunday morning, so if we get some people coming in that are interested in this conversation, that's great. For those that are going to be on the replay crew, good morning. I hope you're doing well this beautiful Sunday morning. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and pass this on. This is important information. Let's start with the event that's sparking nationwide reaction, the fatal shooting of Renee Good. You guys know my position on this young lady. I don't want to see anybody hurt, okay? At the end of the day, no matter what our political lines, no matter what we say, banter, what we say, hyperbole, sarcastically, or anything else, on party lines or for that matter, we don't want to see anybody lose their life. I would prefer that she would have never been out there, right? But we can't control people here in America. They have to be held to their own actions, and they have to take responsibility for those actions. And unfortunately, she had a high price to pay for accountability for her actions when she was disturbing and putting in danger federal officers that are already in a lot of danger. These people think this is a joke, and these officers are literally trying to do their job, and their lives are literally in danger. And all these people that are out there putting their lives in danger do not even have a clue what that is like. The tables will turn. In my opinion, I think the tables will turn, because I think we're going to start identifying these people and doing this to them. This is the only way you get stuff under control, is for people to feel what they are doing and inflicting on other people. Sometimes that's the only way, right? So when the calm stops, are we going to go into the community, into their homes, and start beating pans and pots? I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know that there's accountability around the corner. Are they going to start arresting these people? I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that it doesn't appear to me that these are organic protests. It appears to me that somebody is literally shipping people in to foment this chaos for some reason. The people in that community, there's a very small amount of people in that community that are truly outraged by this. There are some. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are some people that are just, they're white liberal people. And you guys hear me say it all the time, because I can't stand white liberals. If you're a white liberal, you're probably going to be very offended being in this chat. So I try to make sure that that's well known, so we don't offend people, because I still respect people's right to choose whatever they choose. I just want to make sure they know that I'm anti them, and so that they can just move on to go find a home that is them, right? This is not the home. We will disrespect and be rude to every single white liberal that comes into this chat, because I think you are the cancer that rots America. And there's no way that I can sit here morally and say, I'm here to fix America. I want to change laws. I want to get the criminals locked behind bars or deported out of our country. And your position is just the opposite of mine. And I'm on a true crime channel. So I don't like you. Okay. I don't like your kind. I think your kind's very dangerous for the people that I represent, which are law-abiding Americans, are people that are losing their life out in the street. Some of these we covered several from illegal immigrants. Okay. I'm anti-illegal immigrant. Okay. I'm sorry it hurts some feelings. I'm sure there's some people in my chat that are dealing with some of this, immigration policy. Some people are married or in a relationship with somebody that's illegal or has children with them. And I'm sorry for your situation. My heart bleeds for your situation, but I didn't put you into that situation. And I'm not going to change my stance on illegal immigration, because the people knew they came here illegally, and they know that it's time for them to go, and they're refusing to do that. So I have no respect for that. Okay. For the people that realize that they've overstayed their welcome and have packed up their stuff and left willingly, I have all the respect in the world for you. And I pray to God you do the right thing to come back here so you can live your American dream, but do it the right way. At the end of the day, we have rights to enforce our federal laws. And I want to educate my audience and educate the people that are coming over here about the law, because at the end of the day, we have the right to do this. This is not illegal. I don't care what a mayor says. I don't care what a governor says. I'm telling you, I've read the law. I've studied the law. I have a plaque on my wall from work that I did. I was educated in the law. Okay? I have been educated in the law. So when I read these things, I look at them and I see, what is the true law? Do they have a right to act? I'm telling you, if Donald J. Trump was overstepping his authority, I would tell you the problem is that we've been so lackadaisy on our immigration. And when we had 25 million people come here and all of our children, you guys have no idea. I can't even tell you. Go to my ex. I just dropped a post maybe an hour or so ago, okay, on my ex. And it lists some of the worst people that they pulled out in some of their crimes. I can't tell you their crimes over here on YouTube, because I will be banned. Not banned. They would ding my channel, where they would shadow ban my channel if I use the terminologies that I can use over on X, okay? But go over to X and read some of the top people that and some of the crimes that they've done against children, and the types of crimes that they did against children. I've listed them. The front and the back, right? The types of torture. Torture, pure torture. And I want you to tell me that that's who you want as your neighbor. Come on.
You tell me that those are your neighbors. Because if those are the type of neighbors that Minnesota wants, that's disgusting. It's reprehensible. And it's reprehensible that people would be sitting here and fighting for these type of people that have done such terrible things to such young children here on our soil. They did these things to children on our soil. And you want to be out there in the streets and protect these animals? You do not want to meet Bullhorn Betty. You really don't. Because there's one thing that we take very, very, very seriously on this channel, and that's children. And when I see some bonehead idiots, and you don't even want to know what I really think about you, when I see you out in the streets fighting for these people, protecting these people, helping these people, you have no idea what that does to me personally as an American citizen, a woman that can't have children, by the way, a woman that wanted to have children. You have no idea. You have no idea what this mouth would do to whatever ideology you have when it comes to these children. So anybody that's out there in those streets protecting these animals that have done these horrible things to children, you do not want to meet me. You probably don't want to meet half of the people in my chat. I know you guys think you're out there being, trendy? There's going to be hell to pay for the consequences that you're going to have to pay at some point. And maybe those consequences will be pain that you've caused your own family, letting these animals come into your own home and do this to your own children. I don't know what the pain, what your consequences will ultimately be. Only God knows. But there is going to be consequences. And these consequences are going to be very, very, very painful. And they may not come today and they may not come tomorrow. But they are going to come. Karma does have a way of making sure everything keeps turning. Okay? So whenever I do something, I like to be on the right side of that something, because when karma comes around, I want to make sure I'm on the right side of that as well. Okay? So that's why you don't see me out there doing terrible things or supporting terrible people. These people have done terrible things to children in this country, and you've got a bunch of asshats out there that are sitting here and trying to protect those people. There's no way. Not this channel. There's no way. So we have thousands out there marching. And again, I've watched, and I've got on tape buses, okay? Buses. We know that if there's organic protest, there's no need for buses, right? There is no need to bring people in on a whole bunch of buses to get out in the streets and foment chaos, right? That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Bought and paid for chaos. And of course, you got some idiots that are, get kind of drawn into that mob rules, right? And so now you got the people that are just there for, support because they have the bleeding heart, because they're the white liberal that thinks that these people that slice children's throats in their sleep are not going to slice their own child's throat in their sleep. Now that's, hyperbole, but you get the point. And so you have the little, the stupid idiots that want to, Kumbaya. Oh, why did you do that? Well, because you're the infidel. But I'm on your side. But you're the infidel. They don't care. They don't care. Okay? I just want to make sure you know that. So we have thousands marching in the street for this domestic terrorist. It does appear that her wife, Rebecca, is ultimately going to end up going to jail. I don't know at what point they're going to, obviously sometimes law enforcement take a little while, because this is, she needs to go to jail, because without her and her wife, this wouldn't have happened. Somebody wouldn't have lost their life. But, she's also reeling from the death of her wife. So what's the balance? She did give the wife the order. I think that does, according to the laws in Minnesota, that utterance, that command, and her following that command puts her wife, Rebecca, completely 100% liable for her death. Not even just civilly, but criminally now. And I really do believe it's only a matter of time before they are, YouTuber grifters are out there protesting. I believe it. Stupid idiots. But it's a mob rule. And of course, anybody out there on the wrong side are going to be propped up by the Soros and everything else to fund them, to make it more profitable, because people are greedy and people think, oh, if I do this, if I act this way, I'll get paid too. So let me go out there and act this way. And then they start getting paid. And so they continue that behavior, and it's not really organic. It's just, they are being rewarded with stuff that they don't normally have, like money. And that's how these people are able to be controlled so well. If you want to know how it works, that's kind of how it works. You think about how gangs and thugs bring people into their gangs, right? And how they get them to make this is what they're doing. Okay, it's a gang life mentality. They're using gang members to figure out how to get these people in psychologically. And there's a few things that they have to do, and it's identifying people that have a weak link and then exacerbating that weak link and providing a fix to that weak link, which some of these are, father figures in a gang mentality. Most of these young boys don't have father figures. And so these gang members with, a pocket full of money become their kind of daddy, right? And start showering them with money and showing them how the street life, well, this could be their life if they just come aboard. It's very psychological, and this is how they pull people in. So these people are already having emotional problems, or they already have a weak link. For example, Renee Good, in my opinion, she lost her husband. That had been very, very traumatic for her when she lost her husband. It sounded like he was a comedian. He was probably the light of her life. He probably made her laugh a lot. He probably brought a lot of joy in her life. And when he died, it probably did something to her. She probably could never be with another man again, which is, again, you find the lesbian relationship. I've seen this before. The pain is so immense that you can never trust another guy again. And therefore you go this way. And just the opposite. And to be honest with you, my first experience was just the opposite, where a man had a wife. He loved his wife so much, and she died, and he could never be with another woman again. And he kind of went the other way and started being with a man for many, many years. And then, he got very religious, came back to the church, and both of them did. And they kind of both split apart and both went their separate ways. And one ended up getting married to a woman, So there's a lot of things that can really change your life. And, some things are pain and trauma. So I believe that Rebecca kind of took her under the wing, and they trauma bonded, and I do believe Rebecca loved Renee. I do believe that is the case. But she put her in harm's way for a cause that the people would have never repaid the same favor. She gave up so much for this cause, and for what? For what? It just wasn't worth it in my opinion. But anyways, thousands of people joined another night of protest in Minneapolis on Saturday following the death of a woman who was shot by U.S. Immigrations and Custom Enforcement ICE agents in the city. Earlier city officials had said 30 people had been arrested during the weekend's protest, and one police officer was injured after a chunk of ice was thrown at them. And, that's violent, folks. This is not peaceful. These people, these are thugs, need to be in prison, and they need to be in prison a long time, because if they can do this to authority, what would they do? What are they doing behind closed doors? And we all know that people don't get like this out in the public and then go home and are the sweetest, nicest person behind closed doors. Come on now. That doesn't even remotely sound logical. Okay? Hey, Stuffers. It says, I don't agree with the shooting. Was he hasty? I don't know. What happened hours prior? You can't go into a highly charged situation causing chaos. Did she mean to hit him? I don't know. Was she told to comply? And she, I get it, Stuffers. I get what you're saying. I agree 100%. I'm upset that she's dead. I don't want anybody to die. Period. I don't want anybody to be shot by a law enforcement agent for failing to follow command and putting that officer in peril. But at the end of the day, law enforcement can't keep. Is this going to be the time I lose my life, or is this going to be the time I lose? You can't put an officer in that type of situation. This is very, very dangerous. We all know that. Us that deal with law enforcement on a daily basis, we truly know what kind of threat is out there for them. And, I'm sorry that all the things happened the way that they did, but at the end of the day, they were in an area that they shouldn't have been in. They were taunting people that were just trying to do their job in a highly, just like Stepher said, in a very highly charged, emotionally charged area. And then they aim a car at an officer and drive it at him. I mean, whether she meant to hit him or not, it doesn't matter what her intent was. What matters is that she did hit him. What matters is she did drive a 2-ton machine at an officer. That is a lethal weapon. At the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, he had a right to defend himself. And everybody wants to say, oh, she had a right he could have jumped out of the way. Are you kidding me? You've been watching slowed down images of what happened over and over again. Yeah, it does look like he had time to get away. But when you watch the image, she floored the freaking gas. Boom! It was all done. That's how quick it happened. It's not the slowed down version that we're watching here on this stuff and over again, where they're bringing it back, slowing it down, pausing it, showing you this, showing you that. This stuff went boom, and it was done. It was over with. Just that quickly, in a matter of 3 seconds. Do you guys understand that? 1, 2, 3, she was dead. 3 seconds. Go and check it. Count it. Count it. When she hit that gas, 1, 2, 3, it was all over. It was all over. It was a split second. It wasn't 20 seconds. He did not have time to get out of the way. It was that quickly. Yes, when you slow and you reduce the speed of these films to show your audience, yes, it does look like he had plenty of time to get out of the way. But the reality of what we were watching on there, no, he did not. It happened in literally a split second. And it's so easy to judge after the fact. It's so easy to look at things after the fact, but we weren't right there with all of that immense motion and tension right there with a car, a huge 2-ton machine coming at an officer. It's sad. I'm not happy about this situation at all. I'm definitely not happy with the outcome of it, but we can't sit here and sugarcoat it. A mother that had no business being out there taunting officers chose to go out there, taunt officers, and chose to take her car and aim it at an officer and drive toward his direction at a high rate of speed. He had every right to discharge his firearm. He had every right to neutralize the threat. I'm sorry she did this. Only God knows why she did it, but I have a funny feeling she was listening to her wife saying, "Drive, baby, drive." And that's what she chose to do. Now we know the true reason why her wife was out there saying, "This was my fault, I killed her." Because she did. Yet she is going home every night and putting her head on a pillow when she needs to be in a jail cell. And I'm not going to get off that until she's in a jail cell. She will be in a jail cell. Renee deserves justice. If not for her wife, she would still be here because her wife would say, "No, comply." But she didn't say no, comply. She said, "Drive, baby, drive, drive." That's what she told her. And guess what she did? She did what she was instructed to do. And she lost her life because of it. That was a felony. She was in the commission of a felony and she lost her life. Rebecca is responsible. Rebecca should be brought up on manslaughter or second-degree homicide. I don't care which. She deserves to pay for this. A mother is dead. A mother of 3 is dead. That woman Rebecca didn't have those children. Renee had those children. Renee is the children's mother. And she took 3 children's mother away from them over bullshit. And that's the real story. And we're not going to change that. We're not going to change that or sugarcoat that for anybody. She shouldn't have been there. But she had every right to be. But she did not have every right to interfere with a federal investigation or take her car and using as a battering ram. She had no right to do that, and she lost her life because of those actions. And I'm sorry for it. I'm not celebrating over here. I know she celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, but we're not celebrating her death. But she was the dumbass that did this to herself. Let's not forget. The Trump administration said the agent who fired the shot acted in self-defense, and everything that we have seen provided by everybody. These are videos that we see for ourselves from several different angles. And there is no dispute at all in my mind that death was 100% justified. He will never be charged with that crime unless corruption and corrupt officials do it. But I don't see where they're going to have an opportunity to. And here's why. The whole state of Minnesota, all of the politicians have been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And so they're all under federal investigation. Tim Walz, we're on an arrest watch right now for Tim Walz. And we're going to get to my receipts because your guys are like, what do you mean, Tim Walz, arrest watch? Yeah, it sounds like he might be indicted. I'm hearing rumors that he might be indicted. That he actually may have to step down as governor next week. So stay tuned. We are getting to that. I know you guys are like, of course the Trump administration would play as self-defense. Why wouldn't they? Because he has nothing to do with this. If an officer does something wrong, they're going to say an officer does something wrong, Unicorn. My question is why do you believe that an officer has a right to be abused and ran over with a car without defending himself? If you did that to me as a citizen here in the state of Florida, I would have acted in the same way. If you were behind that wheel, there would nothing happening to me, and your parents would be saying bye-bye to you. Do you understand that? You cannot do that. You cannot do that to a federal official, and you cannot do that to a private citizen. If anybody was standing in front of that car, they could have unloaded lawfully and legally, sir. What is so hard for you to understand that? It's a shame that you do not understand the basics of law enforcement or their authority. And it's a shame because if you don't know that, that's a good way to get yourself shot. You not knowing the law is not a defense, okay? Just because you don't think it happened doesn't make it so. With ChatGPT, sir, you should know what the law is. People are ignorant about the law. It's because they choose to be ignorant about the law. When you've got a tool where you can say, is this lawful or legal? And something will tell you back and you still can't figure out what's lawful and legal. Well, you're a dumbass. It doesn't matter where her wheels were. Where did she drive? We watched exactly where she drives. She hit a fucking cop, you idiot. Get the fuck out of my chat. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts whether this officer was hit. He's got a broken foot. You dumbass. Do you understand that? You are in the wrong chat, you liberal piece of shit. You are absolutely in the wrong chat. On a Sunday, nonetheless, go take your hate and your vitriol and your whiteness and take it someplace else because it's not welcome here. You entitled piece of shit. You entitled piece of shit. You entitled piece of white shit. You're in the wrong chat, boo-boo. I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I don't play. I don't play. And I don't like white liberal pieces of shit. I think you're fucking cancer. Okay? I think you rot America from the inside out. That bitch is dead because she got herself shot. She shouldn't have been out there. She should have been a mom. You chose, and she chose, to be out there in those streets. And anybody that chooses to be out in those streets and take a car and point it at an officer, well, you deserve what you get. I will not celebrate her death. I'm angry about her death. but I will not allow pieces of white shit to come into my chat and spread misinformation. She did it to herself. If she wasn't such a skanky bitch and she decided to be a loving mother, maybe she wouldn't be in a body bag. Take that to the bank, boo-boo. Don't ever. She did it to herself. I've been respectful about how I feel about her, but do not think for 1 second I don't feel some type of way about what she did and how she orphaned her own damn children. She did it to herself. Wrong day, wrong time. Go to church, get right with God if you're going to be out there playing in them streets. That's my message to you, boo-boo. Get right with God. Get right with God. So we have anti-ICE demonstrations. These are all over the country. I saw some in New York. I saw some in Minnesota. I saw some in, I think, Philadelphia. I don't care what you think is dumb. And you know what I think is dumb is that you're still in here running your mouth at me. So you must be blank screen. Have I not found you at Monk's Corner in South Carolina, blank screen? If anybody wants to know who blank screen is or what the piece of shit looks like, right? You can go over to my ex because we are going to find you. And when I do find out where you live, boo-boo, I'm going to show up on your front fucking door, okay? With my bullhorn and a whole bunch of signs. And I'm going to take my pots and pans and I'm going to beat them in your neighborhood and wake up your whole neighborhood and tell them what a psychotic, stalking piece of garbage you are. Get the hell out of my chat. Quit disrupting it. For fuck's sake, go get right with God. Go to your mommy and say, I have mommy issues. I have mommy issues and I'm a black man stalking white women in America, right? So why don't you tell the truth that you are the racist, right? You come here every single day trying to attack me and my mods about being racist when you're the black man sitting here just watching and stalking. How many messages have you sent to me? I don't want to date you. I don't want to see you, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sick of the sexual harassment from blank screen behind the scenes. Quite frankly, how many messages have you sent me? 1,000 at this point? Have you sent me like 1,000 messages at this point, blank screen? 1,000 messages. I don't want to date you. I want nothing to do with you. I think you're a slimy, greasy piece of shit. Okay? So leave me alone. I'm sick of your sexual harassment. I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of you stalking me online. Just saying. And guess who decides to go out there? Guess. The one that made the fraud possible to begin with. That started, this lady right here started all of this. Everything that's going on in Minnesota was started by this lady right here. This evil piece of shit right here.
Trying to intimidate us. I see every single day neighbors twirling these violent people.
That's not funny, Sandwich. I almost spit my coffee.
Under the guise of law enforcement and saying no matter what you do to me, you can arrest me or not. I am going to document your illegal actions. Because if there is no...
You mean like marrying your brother? I mean, what illegal actions is this lady talking about? I mean, I think it's I keep wondering, did you consummate your marriage? Should we all lose our breakfast this morning? Ilhan Crackpot? Did you consummate your marriage? I think America really doesn't want to know, but I think it's a point we should know. I kind of want to know. Did you consummate the marriage? Is it disgusting? No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. I don't want to know. I think I'm a fraud. we're fine. Sandwich is like, no, I'm 50-50. I kind of want to know. I know we're some sick people, okay? You guys are sick, twisted people. I'm just saying. I kind of like you a little bit. The time has come. The time has come. Oh, good gracious. She shouldn't even be here. She's married. I know. We're having the conversation of consummation. Did she consummate it? Did she not consummate it? I don't want to know. I do want to know. Sandwich is like 50-50. I'm kind of like, yeah, it might be 50-50 too. Don't say that. We got twisted minds up here. Did she marry him yeah, she married him to get him citizenship, because the way it worked out is that her father was here, but her father lied on his paperwork. So I think all of them are from way back. I think they all have the ability to be denaturalized at this point. And she's still pushing, thinking she's an American citizen. Boo-boo. We're about to kick you the fuck out of the United States and you ain't never coming back. And she's just still thinking she's just an American citizen and there's nothing we can do. And she just has no clue. She has no clue what is before her. I can't wait until she's in the pit of hell of Somalia shithole when she finally realizes you can't come over into our America, stand in allegiance with Somalia and say that you're representing Americans. No, you're not. You are representing Somalia. You're not complying with U.S. Constitution. You're supporting another nation while being a sitting senator or House member, whatever the hell she is. And I think she's a senator, whatever she is. And you're not doing squat about it. I mean, I'm over it. I'm truly just over it at this point. She needs to go. She's a cancer. She doesn't belong here. She's not assimilating. She's actually fomenting hate in our country. And if you're coming here illegally, you're lying on applications to be an American citizen, and then you are holding your allegiance to the place that you fled from. Well, go the fuck back. Excuse my language on a Sunday, but go back. Okay, I'm sick and tired of hearing these people all over the country say how they're here and how bad they're being treated. Well, you fled oppression, allegedly, from your own country. Certainly, what you're living in here has to be better than that, unless you were just flat out lying. And things are so much better in your country, and if they are, then there's no reason for you to be here. Bye, boo. Bye. Okay? And that's kind of how I feel about the whole situation. The lady needs to go back. The lady needs to go back. We got people speaking in different languages at protests against our country. If you hate this country so much that you came and begged us to take you in, get out. Get out. If you came here begging on your little knees, said, please let me in. Please let me in. I'm so scared of my country. And this is what you do? Get out. Get out. Bye. Leave. Go back to your piece of garbage country. Live in peace. Right? From these awful Americans, right? Bye. Let's listen to what she has to say.
Sí se puede.
Sí se puede.
Everyone follow Minnesota immigrant movement. We do not take credit for this speech. Minnesota immigrant movement wrote this speech.
Immigrant movement. They don't want America anymore. We have people moving here to collapse America and take it over. And we have a lot of people that refuse to acknowledge that. Do you think these people are here to live with us? Does this look like they're here to live in solidarity with us? They're here to take over our country. I don't have a bleeding heart for anybody that wants to take me out of my home and call me evil and the infidel and I should die. Okay? If you guys want that for you, by all means, go to a third world country. I'm sure they'll welcome you with open arms with a machete at your neck. Okay? But don't bring this shit here. You want shitholes? Go live in them. Don't bring them here.
Speech. All right, our next speaker is someone who needs no introduction.
She is someone that when I was in high school, I campaigned and went door to door
treasonous,
for her because I
biatch.
believe in her message, and she has done nothing but deliver on those promises. I am very, very proud to be able to introduce the wonderful, the amazing Ilhan Omar.
Say her name. Say her name. Say her name.
Domestic terrorist.
Minneapolis.
Domestic
I am
terrorist.
Incredibly
terrorist.
angry as you all are. We have been visited by state-sanctioned violence that is currently occupying, terrorizing our neighborhoods. This is not okay. This is not the America we want to live in. And this is not the life we want for ourselves and for...
Good. Go back to your shithole, you piece of shit. On a Sunday. Please. Crawl back under that rock that you came from. By all means. If this isn't the America that you want, go back to Somalia and make it whatever the flip you want to make it. You don't belong here. You can't even hardly speak our language, lady.
For our neighbors. But in this state-sanctioned violence where they murdered a neighbor of ours...
They murdered her. They murdered her. They murdered her. This woman was murdered because an officer didn't feel like being killed that day. I hope one day she's in front of a car. And sometimes I don't even want to say it, but sometimes I just wish she would stand in front of a car and somebody would have the balls just to push the frickin' gas so she knows what it's like. But hey, that day will never come. She'll never be put in a position that officer was put in, so she'll never know what it feels like. And that's truly a shame.
Daylight. You all have refused to be afraid. You all have refused to back down. You all have decided that this resistance is...
That having you illegals in our country is not an invasion, but you sure act like it's an invasion. Stand up and resist. They're coming for us. They're going to kick us out of the country we don't belong in, and we've got to fight back. We've got to fight back. We don't belong here, so let's fight back. That sounds like a freaking invasion to me, does it not? Interesting. So we have illegals over here. Our country is trying to get people that do not live here, that do not have residency here, that are not American citizens here, that had no permission to be here. So those people that are not even supposed to be here wants to rise up and take on us? And that's bravery? That's not bravery. That's an invasion, folks. That is an invasion of our country.
It's not one that can be intimidated.
You haven't met Bullhorn Betty yet.
We are showing the nation that regardless of what the tyrant in the White House believes, we know that we are...
Thank you, President Trump, for your promises made and promises kept. I can tell you here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, we'll keep it 100. We are a Trump supporting channel. I am a MAGA first person, and I am a front row Joe. I'm unapologetic from where I stand. I'm unapologetic for how I believe. And you know what? Look at all the bullshit the Republicans have put up with and all the stuff that they've uncovered. Fraud after fraud from the Democrat side. They have been funneling our money, our American taxpayer money, for all of this chaos, not just here in this country, but across the world. We've been funding this chaos across the world. Well, we've said no more. We've sewed our purse up. The MAGA movement has sewed the purse strings up. We still have a few snakes in our garden. We're working on getting them out. We're going to start letting people know who they need to quit voting for, okay? If you want this to come to an end, trust me, you need to start listening and paying attention to who we need in office to put this nonsense to an end.
Here to stay, and this is our country. We are
here to stay. We broke in illegally, but we are here to stay. Fight, fight, fight. That's an invasion, folks.
Going to make a life here, and we are going to stand up for our neighbors here in Minneapolis. As many of you know, they came to terrorize, abduct, and deport Somali immigrants here in Minnesota.
Deport Somali immigrants here in Minnesota. Well, how could you be deported if you weren't here illegally? You guys came over here under oppression. You're saying that this is worse than the shithole you came from. Well, then it's time to send you back to that lovely shithole you came from. No?
They couldn't find any because majority of us are legal residents and citizens. They decided to terrorize our Latino immigrants.
I don't think they're coming to Minnesota for Latino immigrants, but hey, you know what? If they're here illegally, I don't care. If you are here illegally, you have no bleeding heart from Bullhorn Betty, okay? If you have a family here, your person's legal, then it's time for you to start doing the paperwork necessary to make sure you're not sucked into all of this nonsense. And shame on you for taking so long or waiting until it got to this point to start doing what you needed to do to make sure you stayed here, okay? Again, not my problem. I love all people. But again, you make your own decisions. You have to deal with the consequences of your own decision, folks. Period.
They decided to pull up anybody that did not look white because they thought they could be a criminal or they could be undocumented.
Oh, those old little whiteys. Yeah, we're racist. It seems like everybody that says, I love Americans, okay? I love all Americans, folks. You know what I don't like? Illegals pouring into my country and then telling me I'm the problem in my own country. You can get bent real quick because I really don't care about you, okay? I live just fine at night whether you're here or whether you're not here. It's whether you sleep in mud or not me. I'm sleeping on a freaking queen-size mattress that's brand new, okay, boo-boo? I'm not losing sleep. And none of the people in my chat are losing sleep. We all know that.
And we have responded with bravery.
Great point.
We have responded with bravery. We have responded with our neighbors showing up and saying, not on my watch. As they lose their minds trying to intimidate us, I see every single day neighbors trailing these violent people who are trying to intimidate us under the guise of...
Okay, let's just talk about violence. I think violence is shooting a God-fearing father in the neck. You know, I think violence is trying to assassinate a president multiple times. I think violence is when you take thugs and put them in the streets and tell us that we can't speak our truth without having a gun or get our ass whooped in certain areas of this country. You know what? I think that's violence. I think us kicking the people that are doing those violence out is not violent. But see, it's all about the illusion with the Democrat Party, right? Because the illusion is that we're the violent ones, right? But then why is it always the bullets coming this way? Why is it always liberal and Democrat people that are going to prison for threatening the lives of us? Why is it always coming from that side? Why is all the violence and the real world problems always coming from that side? Think about even Renee. She wouldn't have been shot if it wasn't for the violence of the left, right? Because she was the violence of the left. She, in my opinion, deserves to be where she is. You do not want to know what I truly think of Renee. I'm being very, very respectful for that piece of shit mother that chose to take her life and give it up for garbage over being here for her 3 beautiful children. You have no idea how I feel about that woman. But don't ever think that if anybody comes in this chat, I won't tell you just how I feel about her. I have chose to be respectful for a purpose. But I will tell you, you trolling pieces of shit, you do not know me. And maybe you do. But I will not hold back or unleash. You're lucky that I'm giving the respect I'm giving for this lady, and that's about as much as I will ever do. But I think she's trash. I think she's a domestic terrorist. And quite frankly, it was justified for him to unload the entire weapon into her. You better be lucky it was not Bullhorn Betty in front of her. There wouldn't have been meat left on her bones. If she was in Florida with that shit, I guarantee you, she would be unrecognizable. Her face would have been gone. That's the reality of the garbage that these people are doing out there. They're putting their lives in danger. They're putting our officers in danger. And every time somebody gets shot, you want to blame the officer. Quit interfering with federal investigations, and there will be a lot less body bags. But do not think that the American people are going to stand by while you thugs are out there in the street destroying and trying to kill our federal officers. The American people, the real American people, are going to stand up and protect our federal agents. We're not going to be protecting those thugs out in the street. We will run them over. Make no mistake of that. And make no mistake of who Bullhorn Betty is. I will not be intimidated, and I will stand my ground. I will always stand my ground. That lady had no business being out there in those streets. Her mother and her children are going to have to know she's a domestic terrorist for the rest of their life. That was so unfair to them.
Law enforcement and saying no matter what you do to me, you can arrest me or not. I am going to document your illegal actions. Because if there is no accountability today, there will be accountability tomorrow.
Yes, there will be, Elon.
If you think Trump is going to protect...
Elhan, you are right about that. Because we have documented everything on you, boo-boo, and you are going to be paying tomorrow. You are going to be paying tomorrow. You will not be part of our Congress. You will not be in our country. I don't care if MAGA has to take you by your toenails and drag you across the swamp back to Somalia. You're going.
You today, he ain't gonna protect you tomorrow. Our brothers and siblings that you are picking up, you are going to have to speak for your unspeakable crimes. They might have the House majority, they might have the Senate majority, they might have the House...
Unspeakable crimes. Let's talk about the unspeakable crimes. Putting a whole bunch of people out there as your pawns because you can't get an army. You guys decided to use Antifa. You decided to take and rob your entire state blind to pay for Antifa, to pay for your political careers, to send money back to terrorist organizations, to proliferate hate and foment instability all over the world. You want to talk about the crimes against humanity. You're looking at one of the people that I think should be brought up on treason charges, should be brought up on a whole host of charges that are capital crimes that only a firing squad can execute the orders. That is exactly what I wish for a lot of these people. Will I get that? Hopefully one day our government has had enough and will start charging these people with these crimes that they have truly committed, these capital crimes, because these are crimes against our country and crimes against humanity. And our Constitution prescribes death for those things. Death. Okay? Death. I want due process, but I want capital crimes for these people. These people have done horrible things, and look at all the lives they have damaged. They have ruined lives. People have been murdered. People have been killed, all because of their rhetoric. I want them held accountable. Will it happen? I don't know. Maybe it will. I pray to God before I am dead and in my grave that I truly see some people literally locked up for what they have done in this country. I am praying to God. We've got Pam Bondi. I'm not a Pam Bondi fan. I was hoping that her loyalty to Trump would, but she's been a complete and utter failure. This is why I don't like women in certain positions. Okay. You guys see exactly why I say that. I'm not a feminist. I'm a realist. And now you guys see women just don't have the balls it takes sometimes. Okay. They just don't. And I need an AG that's going to get in here and clean house. She said she was the one, right? She got this. She got this. She got this. Well, to me, all she looks like is a blonde Barbie bimbo at this point, okay? I have no more earthly respect for Pam Bondi. I want Pam Bondi to step down. I want her out of office. I have no respect for her. She has done nothing but embarrass President Trump. So I hope Barbie Bimbo Barbie is stepping down soon. And that's what I'm going to call her, because I want her to have a horrible name. I ruin reputations when I come after somebody. It's what I do. And hopefully it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, most of the time it does. I'm very effective in my political stuff. But it's all about doing this stuff properly. And now we've got a huge whole team of people that want her out. So I think we're going to be more effective. But it's all about getting the people on board, because I whip those votes.
Hey guys, Congresswoman Angie Craig. Hi guys. Hi. We are exercising our congressional authority. I'm Congresswoman Angie Craig. This is Congresswoman Kelly Morrison. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
Can we talk to you guys in there?
Yeah. If we can come past, then we can probably talk. We have our
contact our supervision, ma'am.
Yeah.
If you guys can move this way so we can have a conversation with them, that would be great.
Great.
Is that okay?
Please step back. The gate is coming down.
Further. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Wait, move to the side.
You, man.
Why do you have your pepper spray out? Why do you have your pepper spray out, officer? What's the danger?
Yeah, you heathens. You thugs, that's the danger. Evil. Those women right there are evil. I don't like them. I think they're evil. If I ever saw any of these people, I'd cuss them out in the streets. Just to let you know.
Man, you should put
These are blue always.
You guys stay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Photo lenses.
Yeah,
Fine from behind the line.
This is Congresswoman Kelly.
Megan. And Megan from Kelly's.
Hey, do we need to clear the drive so the cars can get through?
Yep. Get out of the driveway.
The driveway, guys.
Get out of the driveway.
Through.
Can we have you all please back up?
Back it up, please.
Federal
Back it up.
property.
Oh! All of you bitches understand that this is federal property now. Oh, so now you understand that, oh, they have authority to kick these people off. You dumb woman. You guys just heard her. Can you guys get off federal property? Now you guys heard it for yourself. You have a representative that knows the law and told the people behind her, the ones that are sitting there, right? Get off federal property. Back up. Get off federal property, right? Why? Because she feels intimidated. She feels something could happen to her. Now, if she feels that way, how do you think those officers feel? How do you think those officers feel? If she can't even handle it, she's only been there a few minutes. She's only been there a few minutes. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's listen to that again. For all those people in the back, we know we got some haters up here because I'm putting it down. I'm putting it down, baby. I'm putting it down like you do a whole damn pizza.
You guys, back
you.
up, please.
Thank you.
Back up.
Watch.
Hey, do we need to clear the drive so the cars can get through?
See all those people, all those protesters behind them?
Watch. Have you all please back up?
Back it up, please.
Federal
Back
property.
it up. You guys,
Thank you. Thank you.
Back up.
Oh! So now that they feel the heat, now it's okay to tell people to back up. But when it's just the officers, right? When it's just the officers, oh, it's okay to put them in jeopardy. It's okay to have the mob around them, just not you bitches. You classless white bitches. People call me a racist. I'm starting to wonder if I'm starting to hate a class of white people. I do. There's no you know what? I do. There's a clique of white people that Bullhorn Betty absolutely hates. I am officially, I've admitted, I am a racist. I am a racist, folks. I have finally acknowledged I am a racist. I hate white liberals. I absolutely hate white liberals. I can't. I'm sorry. I have been in the closet for a really long time. You know what? It feels good. It feels good. I feel liberated. I feel liberated that I'm not kept in my closet anymore, that I can actually speak freely. I hate white liberals. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I feel so liberated today. I feel like I can just... Oh my gosh, that feels so good. I don't think I've ever just sat there and said it just like, I hate white liberals. I want to keep saying I hate white liberals. I feel so calm. Oh my gosh. I have never felt so good in my life. I just feel like 1,000-pound weight. I'm done with PC. Yep. The 1,000-pound weight of PC has just rolled off the shoulders of Bullhorn Betty. Because we are tired of the what?
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
Betty is a lighter shade brown. A milk chocolate, baby. No. Oh, then why are you here? Oh, it's just it's my stalker stuffers. It's blank screen, or who knows, one of the other corny people that literally vanilla chill. You know, me and Malcolm X don't agree on a whole lot. Okay, we really don't. You know, to each their own, but me and Malcolm X, we just don't agree on very much. But there is one thing that me and Malcolm X will agree on every single time. It is the one, I'm sure there's probably more things that I could probably unify with Malcolm X on, right? But the one thing that I absolutely, like, you know, we got it like this, right? Is the white liberal. Okay, Malcolm X has always warned everybody, you know, because he's a very proud black man. He's black power type of guy, you know, and he's always warned his people of the white liberal. The white liberal being the fox in sheep clothing, or the, you know, whatever the terminology being. So, you know, will I dive into Malcolm X one day? Maybe historically, just to find out more about what maybe I unify with him on. But that is the one thing that I've absolutely hands down agree with Malcolm X. And she says Malcolm X was from Omaha. Nice. I didn't know that either. They should be grateful for letting them talk. I know. And not only that, but there's a proper way of doing it. We're professional protesters on here, and there's a lot of professional protesters that really value our right to speak. Okay, I'm one of those people that think it's completely and wholly American to protest. I fought for protesting here for years. You know, why people dragged us through the mud for raising our voices. And kind of funny, that didn't age well, right? Especially in light of most of these people were liberal, you know, pieces of shit anyways, that were complaining about me, and here we go with them, right? So I digress with that. But at the end of the day, you know, I've always valued protesting. I've always honored our Constitution. I've always believed in it. I always believed that, you know, even though it's not a perfect perfect document, it gives us the ability to really sway, or to really have our opinions, or make things law. You know, I just believe in protesting, period. And when I see people abuse our Constitution, or try to say this is protesting, no, it's not. That is pure tyranny in the streets. Okay, not government tyranny. That is homegrown domestic terroristic tyranny in our streets. Okay, and I'm not down like that, because I honor and respect our ability to protest, and I want to make sure I educate people. That's not protesting. Okay, being on the side of the streets, having your signs, speaking, that's protesting. Putting people in fear for their life, putting law enforcement officers in fear for their life, that is not protesting. I don't care whether you like them or not. I'm not here to pander to you. I'm here to tell you the truth. And at the end of the day, what I'm watching is not protesting. I'm not going to say it's protesting. I'm not going to tell my audience that's rioting. It's absolutely. So I'm not going to, I'm going to make sure we discern the difference here on this channel, because what we do out there in those streets is protest. We do our job lawfully and legally. We do not violate the law. We do not burn down buildings. We do not break in buildings. We do not get caught up in the heat of the moment. We do not mob rule. As a matter of fact, if something like that ever came knocking on my door with one of my events, I would go up to the snake and take the snake out. And if that meant by any means necessary, lawfully and legally, I mean that. If I've got to spray them in the face with pepper spray, have law enforcement drag them out by their toes, I don't care. You're not bringing that nonsense or that garbage to any event that I'm at. Even if it's not my event, I will not put up with it. Okay? So this is not protesting. What is going on here is not protesting. Protesting, while it can be loud and while it can be large, it is respectful. Okay? You don't thwart authority that's out there trying to make sure you're safe and they are safe. If you really wanted to protest, you wouldn't have to cuss people out. You could be there saying the system is. When you're in front of these people's face and they have children and families that they've got to go home to, and you're calling them all these names in the book, it is not them. They're following orders. They're doing their job no differently than you. If you don't like the system, challenge the system, not the people in the system. Okay? Because you're part of that system too. And I don't see a whole lot of people moving the needles out there screaming at a bunch of cops. If you really wanted to move the needles, you'd be screaming at a bunch of politicians. But you know what? You can't fix the kind of stupid we're dealing with. I can't help that these assholes out here have no semblance of a public education. Actually, we have no public education. That's why so many people have ditched the schools and have decided to teach their kids themselves. Why? Because we can't trust our government. Not in any facet of our life. Why? Because of this. Because of this. You people have tried to take over our schools, our minds, our laws, our TVs. You're sick. We're not falling for it. We want our shit back, and we are going to do whatever is necessary to get our way of life back to our way of life. It's our way of life. It is the American way of life. It may not be perfect. We may not all like each other, but damn it, it's our way we live. And we're not going to have some people from the Middle East coming over here and changing our lives. Okay? I am sorry. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. You didn't sign up for this. You're being force-fed it, and you're being told to deal with it. Well, you know what? We're not dealing with it anymore. And I'm pretty sure I've got support on both sides of the aisle with it. Some may not. That's okay. But I already know where my support is coming from, and I know I got support on both sides of the aisle. Okay? Not everybody is down like this. Not every Democrat wants to see this shit. Not every Republican wants to see this shit. Okay, we're tired of it. All of America is tired of this nonsense. We're tired of the liberal pieces of shit out there fomenting chaos across this country. Everybody is tired of it. Okay? If nothing more, you know the one thing that's going to unify the Democrats, not the party themselves, but just the mom and pops, is you liberals. That's what's going to unite us all. And we're going to take this country back together. Because we're getting sick and tired of it, and they don't think that the Democrat Party don't see that you hijacked their party. Don't think that they did not see what you guys did. They know. They absolutely know. They absolutely know you guys hijacked their party. And they're tired of it too. So trust me, when America unites, we're coming for your asses. Okay? Lawfully and legally. Don't say I'm threatening nobody. I tell it like it is. If you can't handle it, get out of the kitchen. If it's getting too hot in here, leave. You don't ever have to come back to the Bullhorn Betty channel again, but what you guys don't get to do is do this crap across the country. I'm a true blue American. I love this country. I think this is the best country in the entire world. There is no country that would allow you people to do what you guys are doing all over this country without being executed. You are so lucky you're doing it here in America. Have you seen what's going over in Iran? 116 people are dead because of their government. Keep messing around. 116 people that just want a better life, executed for fighting for a better life. Because once you get in communism, you have to lose life to get yourself out of it. We're not even going there with America because we know what's on the other end of this. How do we know? Look what's going on in Iran. Look what's going on in Venezuela. That's what you want for our America? Democrats, you guys got to wake up. A lot of them are. I know they are. I hear it. Some of them are still holding on. Some of them are still, they're coming around, folks. I'm telling you, they're coming around. They're coming around. Everybody's sick and tired of this.
Request a member of the media come with us. Come with you.
Nope.
Stand up. For to consolidate.
So they get up there. They didn't get what they wanted, the whole tide and true. So again, you guys are wondering what my thumbnail is all about. Guys, we are officially, out of all that chaos that you just watched, out of all that anger and animosity, even cussing on a Sunday I did. Thank goodness I'm sending you guys to church after this. Please pray for me. I gotta tell you, I'm upset about this, as you guys know. I'm upset about this. I'm upset about all of it. I'm upset that a woman lost her life, but she did it to herself. I don't like the lady. I don't like her ideology. I think some type of way about her as a human being. She did it to herself. I'm not crying or losing any sleep over it. However, it was the environment that caused her to put her life in the line that bothers me so much, because so many other people are doing the same thing. And they're pushing, and they don't realize there are real consequences. And once you're gone, you might get what's going on with Renee. Do you think she's going down in the history books? You think after this little 2-week period, anybody's going to really remember Renee? Nobody's going to remember her. And when anybody talks about her, they're going to talk about her as being a domestic terrorist. So what did she really accomplish? She ruined her reputation, her name, and her legacy. All for what? Hate. Hate. She hated people so much that she literally left her children orphaned over hate. I want that to sink in. That's the reality of what transpired. So we know about the fraud. We know about the hate. We know about this them wanting to keep the federal government out. We keep wondering, why are they fighting so hard? They didn't do this to Obama. Why are they fighting so hard? It's because we've unearthed this massive fraud scheme going across every single one of our states. And we unmasked how they were able to do it. This is huge. Now, I don't believe Tim Walz, while we thought he was the tip of the iceberg, he is. But I don't think he's by far the biggest fraud yet. I think the biggest fraud is going to be out in New York or California. And but it was pretty big. I mean, I think that I think the fraud is more in, guys, sit down for this. And I'm just going to take a deep breath. It's not all uncovered, but I think in Minnesota, we're going to find out it was over $150 billion. Because this has been, it's not just widespread, but it had been going on for so many years that I think we're looking at about 150 billion. That's with a B. And that's going to be what they're going to be able to prove. And the reason why we're on arrest watch for Tim Walz is because he intimidated people to cover it up and to keep it quiet, personally. So there was a congressional hearing and investigation into the matter of this, and whistleblowers came in and provided proof, receipts, and testimony that Tim Walz not only knew about the theft and the fraud, but went after anybody that brought it up or tried to get it to stop. He would threaten them with their job. He would intimidate them. They were made to fall in line. They were made to change reports. This was all documented under oath in a congressional hearing. So this painted a very, very criminal picture for Tim Walz. This teacher might go to jail for a very long time for fraud. Do I think he personally benefited from it? I do. Do I personally believe that's why he kept it under wraps, is because they were funding the politicians that they needed in their state? I do. I think that the reason why he was selected for vice president was for this specific fraud scheme, because it was helping funnel a lot of money, tens of millions of dollars, into the Democrat Party for the election of Kamala Harris. So I think that this is all coming out. So what we are finding out is that it sounds like next week he's going to be forced to resign and step down. I guess only time will tell. I don't know how accurate this reporting is. So I'm not going to stand on my hill as it being 100%. And this is going to be one of those things where time will tell, and why I said arrest watch, right? Because it looks like we're going to be watching to see if Tim Walz is ultimately arrested, or even resigns for that matter. It sounds to me like he's going to resign. We knew he wasn't going to be pursuing anymore, and he came out and said, "You're not going to take me out. I'm not going to resign. I'm not going to resign." Well, you don't know the MAGA movement and how much we dive in, and how much we send over to people that send stuff over to people that send stuff over to the feds. Okay, there's a whole group that's out there that does nothing but research all day long, and goes into this stuff and sleuths all this stuff and starts sending this stuff to people. I mean, when you know who you need to send stuff to, you get the stuff out that needs to go to those people. There's a hierarchy even in the MAGA movement, okay? You have here, you go here, you go here, you go here, it goes here, okay? That's kind of how we roll. So there's been a lot of collective people that have been doing a lot of research. Even this Nick Shirley. Now, Nick Shirley, in all fairness, love the guy, but he got there was a guy that reached out to him to talk to him about this stuff. They were trying to find the fraud. When he went out there, it is my understanding he didn't know what to expect from this. They were just going to see. He was kind of didn't believe this guy that says that, he's driving by all these daycares that have no children in them, and they're getting millions of dollars. This was a guy that just happened to notice something in his community and started looking into it, and didn't like what he was seeing. And when he was questioned about it, he was, pushed away, and whatever the case may be. Well, however he got a hold of Nick Shirley, or however they ended up, connecting, they did. And Nick Shirley was curious, and he had this guy show him what he was talking about. And sure enough, they went to one business, closed, another business closed, another business closed. And they had paperwork of them getting millions of dollars and saying that they had XYZ children, yet you had no children. Some of these buildings they would go up to, they had roofs fully collapsed inside the buildings. There is no possibility of children being in that building, and you've got literally $14 million going for 127. What school needs $14 million for 127 students? And when we broke down $18 billion across the 5.8 million people they have in their state, we find out that every single person from the fraud that they did could have gotten $3,200. That's every single person. That means if mom is carrying a baby in her belly, she gets twice that. If you have a family of 4, you get 4 of those. And you're trying to tell me that $13,000 or $15,000 to a family of 4 is not help, but sending that much per person. They're literally sending every single year to these Somalis $3,200 that every single one of their citizens could be receiving back in tax refunds. $3,200 for every single person. Again, a family of 4 gets close to $15,000. A family of 4. And you're telling me that the will of Minnesotans is not to get the $15,000 back, but to give it to a Somali to go send over to Somalia. That's the will of the Minnesotans. Cut it out. So we're finding out that Minnesota governor is set to resign within the next week. We're going to find out if that's true. Okay, because if this ball is rolling and he has to resign, that means he's about to get arrested, in my opinion. So we're finding out. I guess we'll circle back next week and see if he resigns. And if it's not next week, the week after. So we'll give this like a 2-week. Hey, Aaron, it's nice to see you. If you're a veteran or just a single American, you can't get help. Of course not. It's totally unfair. It's totally unfair. But this comes after he was referred for criminal indictment in the Somali fraud. So he has been referred for criminal indictment. It sounds like they may arrest him. And again, it comes down, if he was blissfully aware or blissfully unaware of this, then maybe his neck wouldn't be so far out. But the problem is that people specifically went to him very concerned about this fraud. And he made them shut up. And if they wouldn't shut up or they kept pushing, he threatened their job. He tried to cover this up. And he tried to do it with intimidation. And guys, I mean, how can you support that? How can you support women doing their job and going to a man and saying, hey, we got a huge fraud problem here. And if you tell anybody, I'm coming after your job, you'll be ostracized. And you're being told this over and over again to the point that you just stop talking about it. How dare him threaten people's jobs to keep fraud silent? Why would he do that? He would only do that as if he's financially benefiting from the fraud. Every single one of these politicians in Minnesota had a direct connect to the fraudsters, including the attorney general. It was a racket. They made sure that they had everything in place that nobody would be held accountable for this fraud. They had the fix-in with the governor. They had the fix-in with the senator. They had the fix-in with the mayor. They had the fix-in with the state attorney general. Every big person that was the gatekeeper for the next person was all involved in this. It was truly a laundering racket at the highest level. Highest level. And he is literally telling us he's preparing his National Guards for civil war. Bitch, please. I wish you would. I wish you would. I wish you would. I hope he never says those words again. I hope he is prosecuted he tried to cause a civil war to cover up his fraud. I want you guys to understand it. I want you to understand how dangerous Tim Walz truly is. How dangerous the Democrat Party truly is. He is literally calling for civil war to cover up his fraud. There's a lot more politicians involved. It is time to literally clean house. Now, Democrats, this is what I'm going to ask of you. Don't you want to know the truth yourself? Like, isn't it time for all of us to really know the truth? I really want to know the truth. I want to know what's going on in this country. I think we all, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, we all need to unite, and we all need to be pushing. We're almost there. We've all been wondering this stuff for years and years and years. Tell me you haven't. We all have. We all have. This is the closest we've ever gotten to uncovering the truth. The absolute closest to understanding how the deep state functions. Are you really telling me we're ready to wrap up and go home and stop? I want to know. I want to know so bad. I know everybody else does too. We're nosy. We're in the true crime genre. Come on, guys. I know you guys do. I know I have some Democrats listening. I know I do. And I know you guys want to know too. Because we're all in the same boat here. I really want to know. I want to know how this was orchestrated, how this world domination started. I mean, it sounded like a taboo and conspiracy theories that we were, listening to and stuff like that. But, this is really putting some teeth in those statements, those conspiracy theories. I'm sorry, it is. And some of these things that we were hearing that were so left field are actually starting to hold some water, and it's pretty freaking scary. But you cannot tell me you don't want to know. I want to know. Like, I want to know. What the hell is going on here? We all feel like this country has just went to shit. I want to know why. Don't you? We're almost there, folks. I think if we keep it, trust me, I know there's snakes in my party. You don't hear me giving anybody a pass. So if I can admit that there's snakes in my party, you guys can admit there's snakes in your party. So let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. We need to find out what the hell happened, where this all went wrong. Yeah, I believe it. Digging. I believe it. So there it is, guys. There's my receipts. This is what we're hearing. So if you want to know why we're on arrest watch, it's because I'm hearing behind the scenes or in front of the scenes, theoretically here, that a governor is looking like he's going to be forced to resign, and he does have a criminal referral. It looks like the federal government's going after him for accountability. If this happens, this will be the first of many. I've been, I can't stand Pam Bondi because she's inaction commander-in-chief, You want to talk about somebody that won't do anything? She's been by far the biggest disappointment in the MAGA. There's been a few of them, MTG, but it seems like they were all in part of a clique with Matt Gaetz and some of these other ones. And it seems like they're all kind of falling out at the same because they were doing dirty shit behind the scenes, in direct conflict with Donald Trump in the darkness. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene is the one that set him up in the restaurant. Did you guys hear that? And she's out here on The View saying, I don't know why Donald Trump won't talk to me. Because you set him up right after he was almost assassinated. Have you lost your ever... Like, if I saw Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'd probably be in jail. I'd probably spit in her face. Probably the most violent thing that you'll see Betty do. I need to stop. I need to stop. But I may not spit, but I'd want to. I want to. I'd be like, darn well, if I could walk by her, I'd be like, you bitch. I would. Traitor. Traitor. If I was in earshot, spit like a man. You got to remember, I was out on the construction. I know how to spit like a man. Trust me, I can do that. I can do a lot of things, okay? I can do a lot of things. But I used to be on construction sites, okay? That's why I liked her, because, the women that are out there in the construction, we're usually alpha females, and we're not so vindictive, right? But, we have vindictiveness, don't get me wrong, but we truly aren't really, alpha females aren't vindictive. They can be, but they don't want to be. They're, but when you have a boo-boo, they're vindictive. She became a boo-boo. Okay? She's a vindictive woman. She didn't get what she wanted. She set Trump up. He cut her off, and then she went on. Now all of a sudden she's best friends with The View? She was no real MAGA. Even if you wanted to fight with the president, that's one thing. But to go on The View, of all places, you were never MAGA. Okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene was never MAGA. She had a cloak over her, right? She had this facade over her that made her appear like that. She was the proverbial wolf in sheep's clothing in the MAGA movement, because they're Tucker Carlson, or should I say... Stop. Let's not get off base. Betty! We're on Tim Walz. Okay, well, the bald-heading, blonde hair, white hair, glass, pencil-pushing fraudster, Tim Walz, looks like he's going to be resigning, and it looks like he might be arrested in the in the Minnesota fraud. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of updates on this stuff. I don't know if I've got it just right or if this is it. Let's see what we got. Give it a second. It's going to lag just a little bit, but then it'll pick itself back up.
Well, the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life...
he looks awful. Ryan Reynolds looks horrible. What the hell happened to him?
Well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half-off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea.
He looks awful!
Call it an early present.
He looks like he's on drugs!
11 months early, which takes you from the worst ever
to the best ever. He looks like a homeless man even in the commercial! What the hell happened it's his teeth, too. He looks like he's on drugs. Oh, no. No, Ryan, no, not you. Another one bites the dust. The hell? What's wrong? Nah, I don't believe it. No, something's wrong with him. It's the sunken in cheeks. It's the coloration of his teeth. Yes, that's exactly it right there. Yep.
You already f***ed up, right? What do you have to lose?
And when have you ever heard Brian talk like that? Something's wrong with him. Wow. He got Mint Mobile. He's doing bad. He's bad. He looked cracked out. I have to agree with that, Oven Baby. I got to agree with that.
Look, I realize this pitch may not work.
Wow.
Let's bring in Minnesota Private Business Council member and former Republican Minnesota Attorney General candidate, Jim Schultz. Jim, thank you so much for being here.
You can.
I mean, man, a lot going on in the city and state that you love. What is your reaction to all of this?
Well, it's another really painful and traumatic experience for our state here, and again, we have a circumstance in which the governor of our state, other leaders have totally failed to step up to meet the moment. Tim Walz, has said that the state is at war with the federal government, that he's calling up the National Guard to oppose the federal government. This is really just bizarre behavior on the part of our president, really troubling in terms of his state of mind, in terms of how he thinks about it. We need leaders right now to step up, turn the temperature down, to bring people together, and I'm sorry to say that Tim Walz continues to do just the opposite.
Because he's trying to incite people to hide his fraud.
It's not just Tim Walz. It's so many of your elected leaders. Over the past 48 hours, we have heard complete misunderstandings of law. And as an AG candidate, I'm sure, you saw that as well. We've also seen a lot of rage and, quite frankly, lies when it comes to facts. So what do the majority of Minnesotans think when they see their elected leaders, led by Tim Walz, demonstrating what they've shown over the last 48 hours?
Well, I think you'd have to say that the vast majority of Minnesotans are just deeply troubled by the trajectory of our state, particularly over the past 5-6 years of Tim Walz's leadership. He's been totally ill-equipped. He's been totally negligent in so much of his leadership, whether it comes to circumstances like this, when it comes to fraud and so forth. And so the average...
I think that I stand by my assessment that I truly believe that our laws, our local in these blue states have been stolen from the people. I truly believe that they had so many, Hispanic and Black votes once upon a time that they relied and pandered on those votes. And when they started doing this really left-swinging stuff, you got to understand there's a lot of Christian folks in the Democrat Party. They can't get behind some of this stuff for religious purposes, okay? So they're forcing those middle-of-the-road Democrats over to the Republican side, and even if the Democrats can't even stomach putting an R next to their name, they're moving into the independent category just not to take the R. And that is what I've been seeing across this country in a lot of these blue states. And I think that's why they had been forced. I think the Democrat Party was forced to funnel these illegals in here because they could not perpetrate their con without the amount of people. They had to have the bodies in order for the fraud. And so we see every single Democrat is and some Republicans are part of this fraud network and utilizing all this fraud to funnel money into campaigns and other things, and they're getting caught right now. But at the end of the day, when you hear these things, you're realizing most of the people in Minnesota didn't vote for this guy. So how the hell was he elected? Okay, when you go back and you go and look at who's out there and you ask them, they didn't vote for him. So how the hell is he a governor of Minnesota when he didn't have the support of the residents of his state or the majority of the residents of his state? That in and of itself shows that there had to have been fraud in the elections in Minnesota by those standards alone. And I think that this is happening because everybody thinks that, they must have had the votes. We must be in a Democrat-led area, and the Democrats are over here saying, we didn't vote for him. And the Republicans are over here saying, well, we didn't vote for him either. So who the hell voted for him? Who the hell voted for Tim Walz? He was never elected. He was installed in that state. He was never elected.
Minnesotan is looking out there and saying, what happened to the state, this true leader of the country that we had just a few years ago?
Vice President J.D. Vance made a big announcement yesterday, announcing a multi-state fraud task force, of course, in the wake of the Minnesota fraud scandal. He did this during the...
And thank God, you guys will be happy to know Pam Bondi is not, and I repeat, not leading that investigation. Our president wisened up and realized she's a complete failure and will not be putting this on her plate. He's going to get a specialized prosecutor with a pair of balls, okay? Proverbially, for proverbial balls or real ones. I don't care. I don't care which. I don't care which. Just as long as we're very strong. I don't care if it's proverbial or literal. We need a pair of balls to take over this.
White House press briefing. Listen to how that sounded.
We're looking in with broad investigatory authority to a number of the instances of wrongdoing that we've seen in Minneapolis. But we also want to expand this. We know that the fraud isn't just happening in Minneapolis. It's also happening in states like Ohio. It's happening in states like California. And so what we're doing in order to help coordinate this remarkable interagency effort from the Trump administration, but also to make sure that we prosecute the bad guys and do it as swiftly and efficiently as possible.
So the Trump administration is creating a new assistant attorney general position focused on
a new assistant attorney general because their attorney general sucks. That's why. Pam Bondi, you are a disgrace. You've embarrassed our president. Shame on you for that. People like me will never forgive you. Like you screwed. Like I've got a lot of friends in the cemetery because of her fight with these pill mills in the state of Florida without any resources for the people that were substance abuse addicted. They just took all the substances away from them and thought that was going to fix the problem. Next thing you know, people go to H and they literally are just dying on our streets. That was her leadership. And here she is doing it again at the highest rate. I was hopeful for her. I supported her, because I knew Trump really liked her. She was flying with him. She had his ear. She had his support. I trusted that. And she let the MAGA movement down. She let Donald J. Trump down. And quite frankly, I don't know if she let herself down or if she was just an implant. Because I'm starting to think that she was a plant. Because Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, there's just some sliminess going on that I don't like, that I saw that collapsed all at the same time. And it's like, were you all in bed together? And I think they were.
Across the country. Do you think that's what's needed to get to the bottom of all of this?
Well, for a long time now here in Minnesota, all the prosecutions around the massive fraud that's been present in our state that we've heard so much about, all of those prosecutions have been done by the federal government. The federal government has stepped up, and on the other hand, our state authorities, Tim Walz, our Attorney General, Keith Ellison, and so many others have brought no prosecutions on our side. And so instead, the federal government has to step up on account of that. And so absolutely, this is welcome.
They brought no fraud cases, they're saying. That the federal government has to do it because the state won't. Unbelievable.
This is needed. We have to ensure that taxpayer dollars are used appropriately. In our state, we've seen that they certainly are not, and that state authorities have again failed to step up. And so, absolutely, the federal government needs to continue to step in here.
Don't forget to hit like and share and subscribe.
Half a trillion dollars in fraud, upwards of $500 billion. What do you think the connection is, Jim, quickly, and how intertwined are the issues of this fraud with illegal immigration?
Well, the fact is that there is substantial fraud here in Minnesota from the Somali American immigrant community here. That's the vast majority of where the fraud is located, and that's absolutely unacceptable. And the fact is, we need to show the world that if you commit fraud in the state of Minnesota or anywhere else, that you're gonna see serious prison time, that you won't get away with it. And unfortunately, for a very long time now, to your point, Todd, people have felt as though they can get away with it.
They have.
Yeah, because there's no accountability like every other sector of these blue states. People are dying in their states, being murdered by people that should be behind bars, and we got dumbasses out in the street saying, that's what we want! That's what we want, right? Even the teacher. She wants that too until it knocked on her door and she's dead now because of her own damn policies, right? Or Kata Scott's family that's sitting next to the DA that killed their daughter, right? Because of his policies, him letting a dirtbag out of jail when he should have been locked up, or not prosecuting a case that he had plenty of evidence to prosecute, killed Kata Scott. And her parents are sitting right next to the a-hole that packed the way for their child to be, like, you can't fix that kind of stupid in America. You truly cannot literally fix that kind of stupid in America. They're standing with the man that his policies literally killed their daughter, and they're saying support him. If my mama or daddy did that, please help them. If policies of a politician in my state got me killed, please make sure my mommy and my daddy are not standing next to the man that got me killed. Please. How hard is that? I don't know. Apparently it was very hard for Kata Scott's family. They were too busy bringing in the money, right? They wanted to buy their loyalty. Wanted to get them meals and everything else. Please send them gift cards. Did you guys hear some of those things? Just to get them to stand next to that Kratzker, whatever his name is, guy. The rich white guy. The short, rich white guy. That guy. So, Governor Walz authorizes National Guard staging following fatal ICE shooting in Minneapolis. And again, I'm not going to go and play the VP's information. We kind of know that Tim Walz is playing a dangerous game. He's been, appears to be like he's going to be indicted for fraud or some type of fraud or related to the massive fraud in his state. It sounds like he may be forced to step down. How does that work? Is automatically the lieutenant installed, or can our president, get somebody else in office? Because if so, if Tim Walz is removed and is facing, serious time in court for these fraud charges, they're going to have a governor. I believe. You know what? Let's ask ChatGPT. Let's not guess about this. Let's ask ChatGPT. Hold on. Let me get ChatGPT up here. Let me take this off. Let's see. I don't want that. We'll go back to the breaking news. We'll go back to breaking news so we can get the breaking news behind me. Okay. Let's see. Let's ask the chat. Let's ask the chat. All right. Hold on here. When a governor resigns, say for fraud or maybe just life, just resigns from his job, what then happens? Who is then responsible for appointing a new governor, and how does that process work? Okay. Let's see what this says. Let me put this up on the big screen so we can all read it together. No, that's not it. I'm on the wrong one. That's why. There we go. All right. So what it says is, let me get this out here. So what it says is, in the United States, there is no appointment of a new governor when a sitting governor resigns. The process is governed almost entirely by state constitution, and it's designed to ensure automatic continuation of executory authority, not political appointments. Below is the standard framework. Okay, so immediate succession, no vacancy period. When a governor resigns, whether due to scandal, health, or personal reasons, the office does not remain vacant. Almost universally, the lieutenant governor automatically becomes governor. This occurs immediately upon resignation, no vote, no confirmation, no appointment. This is known as constitutional succession, not appointment. What happens if to the lieutenant governor's position? The lieutenant governor's position remains vacant until the next general election. The Secretary of State or state president becomes next in line. So the Secretary of State or Senate president becomes the next in line. Some states allow the new governor to appoint or replace a lieutenant governor, often requiring legislative confirmation. Each state constitution spells this out explicitly, so you'll have to go to your state constitution. I'll ask it about Minnesota specifically after I'm done reading this. If there is no lieutenant governor, a handful of states do not have, if there is no lieutenant governor, a handful of states do not have a lieutenant governor or historically did not. In those cases, succession usually follows this order. The president of the Senate becomes the governor, or the speaker. The next would be the Speaker of the House, then Secretary of the State. Again, this is automatic, no appointment necessary, so it's based upon the Constitution in that state. Is a special election held? And usually no special election if the resignation occurred late in the term. The successor serves the remainder of the term. Some states require a special election if the vacancy occurs early in the term. The successor serves temporarily until the election occurs. This is state specific. So 5, fraud, criminal charges, or impeachment. Important distinction. Resignation triggers automatic succession. So this is why if he is looking to be charged, he's going to resign because he would want this automatic succession to happen versus going through an impeachment and approval. Because if it's an impeachment and removal, some end results could automatic succession. Criminal conviction does not itself remove a governor unless the state law says so. So there is no scenario where the president, Congress, or a political party appoints a governor. So that was interesting. I didn't know how that all worked, to be honest with you. So federal government has no role. So governors are state executive officers. The federal government has no authority to appoint or approve governors in the state. Okay, that makes sense. Cannot intervene unless federal crimes are involved. Even then, succession remains the state matter. So this is where they're going to be. So succession is going to stay in the state. Now, my question, there's going to be a couple questions, so we'll go through those questions in just a second. So for a practical example, for example, if the governor resigns at 10 a.m., at 10 a.m. 01, the lieutenant governor is now officially governor. They are sworn in the same day, often immediately. Government operations continue uninterrupted. Why this system exists? It's designed, it is designed to prevent power vacuums, which is exactly what I was thinking. Can the our president install a Republican governor, right? So it prevents the power vacuum, political manipulation, and delays during crisis. It mirrors the U.S. Presidential line of succession, but at a state level. So it's just stuff that I had obviously forgot about. So the bottom line, no one can appoint a new governor. Succession is automatic and constitutional. The lieutenant governor becomes governor. So let me ask, so what is the process? What is the process in Minnesota? In Minnesota, the process is straightforward and constitutionally defined. There is no appointment of a new governor and no delay. Below is the exact process under the Minnesota Constitution, Article 5. Immediate succession. So if the governor of Minnesota resigns for any reason, fraud, health, personal decision, etc., the lieutenant governor automatically becomes governor. What happens immediately upon the resignation taking effect? No vote, no confirmation, no legislative action required. This automatic constitutional succession. Legal authority. This is governed by Article 5, Section 5 of the Minnesota Constitution, which states that when the governor's office becomes vacant, the lieutenant governor assumes office of governor. Minnesota elects the governor and lieutenant governor as a joint ticket, which enforces continuity. What happens to the lieutenant governor position? Once the lieutenant governor becomes governor, the lieutenant governor's office becomes vacant. A new governor may appoint a new lieutenant governor. So he or she may be able to appoint a new lieutenant governor. That appointment requires confirmation by the Minnesota Senate. This authority exists because Minnesota post 1974 constitutional amendments. If both offices are vacant, if for some reason, so say this was going to be the next question I asked. What if the lieutenant governor is also indicted on fraud, as having knowledge and threatening and stuff like that? That would be interesting. I'm not sure if that came up. I got to go back and listen to the statements in Congress. But if for some reason both the governor and the lieutenant governor's office become vacant, the president of Minnesota Senate becomes the governor. So if that office is vacant, succession continues down the statutory lines. Again, this is automatic and not discretionary. Is there a special election? No special election is required. The successor serves the remainder of the term. Minnesota law does not mandate a gubernatorial special election due resignation. Criminal charges or fraud do not change the process, so that's good to know. So it looks like the lieutenant governor would automatically, according to their state senate, be put in as the governor of the state of Minnesota. So if you guys are just wondering what happens now if this does happen, because we are on this arrest watch, that is it. So I do want to thank everybody that came out to watch the Bullhorn Betty channel. I appreciate your time. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We are covering this. This is true crime. This is not only true crime, this is stuff that took money out of the mouths of babies. Literally babies. This money was earmarked for kids. This money was earmarked for the most disadvantaged of the communities in Minnesota. They took money from the babies, okay? They stole money from the babies. They literally stole money out of babies, infants' mouths. That is totally and wholly unacceptable for me. Then they stole with all the people that need help with daycare and stuff like that. They stole from them. They stole from single moms that really needed a hand out, or a hand up instead of a hand out. They stole from them. They stole from them, the most vulnerable of the population in Minnesota. These are people that went without. We don't know. Did somebody lose their life because of this stuff? We don't know. Did somebody starve to death because of this stuff? We don't know. Would it have been attributed to this threat? Probably not, because they don't keep those type of records. But it's unacceptable at the end of the day, and it definitely belongs here on the Bullhorn Betty Show, because we cover true crime. And if we don't cover the most massive fraud in American history on the Bullhorn Betty channel, what the hell are we doing here? All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And please pray for Betty. I used some foul language this morning on a Sunday, and I do apologize. This is the one day we should be able to watch our language, but I get hot and I get angry. And I get angry when I have a troll in here, sitting here protecting a domestic terrorist. Okay? I will tell you exactly how I feel about that domestic terrorist when I'm really trying to be as respectful as possible for all involved, including her children. But do not think for 1 minute I will not tell you about her, because I absolutely will. I'm sorry that she put her children and her family through this, but she made those decisions, her and her wife. Her wife is still alive. Her wife deserves to be charged. I hope to see her wife behind bars very, very soon. So that's where I'm at. I hope that you guys pray for Minnesota and all the people that are oppressed by their government around this country, because I truly believe they were stolen from. I believe that these governors were installed, not elected. And we need to fight, and bring our reality back to the people of Minnesota. Minnesotans are struggling. They don't want this garbage in their backyard. This garbage is in their backyard because of this governor being installed, not elected. All right, guys, we'll see you soon.